The winner of the most comment shout out is Timon the Buckeye, who I think probably was the betting favorite, if we're being honest on that one. So congrats, Timon. There's your shout out. I want to do it again, though. The most comments on today's show, if you can beat Timon, will get a shout out on a future Ohio State Football Report video. So flood the comment section right now as we dive into the latest on the recruiting front for Ohio State. We did post this as a community post on the channel and on Facebook, too. Khary Wilder has committed to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Actually, the first defensive lineman to commit to the Buckeyes. This was the visits list for Wilder. He completed ones with UCLA and Ohio State. He had ones on the schedule for Notre Dame and Washington. The commitment makes me think those are not going to happen, or they aren't going to be nearly as intriguing there. But Wilder is the first defensive lineman to pledge his talents to the Buckeyes in the class of 2026. They need to get some more young talent in there. I think this is, even though he's only, quote-unquote, 242, which, for some schools is like the best or second best player in their class if you're not operating at the highest of levels like Ohio State is. Out of California, by the way, 23rd ranked edge rusher in the class. I think getting some defensive line talent, which needs to be restocked and has had some misses in recent years for Ohio State of not being able to add the guy they wanted, losing a recruiting battle, losing a transfer portal battle, or guys not developing properly, that's a big deal for the Buckeyes. Here's what Wilder said on his commitment to Ohio State. It was the perfect fit for me. It was a super easy decision because every coach and every school on the list are great, but when I visited Ohio State, it made it easier. OSU was great for me. I knew it coming out of the visit. I prayed on it, had some talks with my family, and decided Ohio State is the place that I want to call home. Let's welcome Khary Wilder to Ohio State, assuming there's no flips or anything there. Type KW, his initials, in the comments section of today's show. Let's go to Xavier Griffin, the 5-star linebacker, the former USC commit who decommitted. The Buckeyes are in the mix here, and his June 29th commitment date, the planned one at least, is rapidly approaching. This is a tough one for the Buckeyes to land, and maybe even ends up being Sincere Johnson goes to one school and then Griffin goes to the other. Alabama, who might, and probably is, if we're being fair, viewed as the favorite right now for Griffin, and the Buckeyes are the top two contenders. Not the only ones, but the top ones right now. Griffin is a 5-star linebacker, the number 2 ranked overall off-ball linebacker in the class of 2026. Number 4 ranked player in the state of Georgia. Haven't heard a lot of buzz about Georgia being involved there. OSU and Bama have already had completed official visits with Griffin. Texas coming up starting tomorrow. Then he's going to jet over to Florida State for that one. An interview with On3. Here's what Griffin said about Ohio State. I loved Ohio State. I think my favorite part for me was the real estate part. Being able to connect with the prime real estate agency. This is truly a degree I want to pursue. I also enjoyed getting to see the new defensive scheme and how I fit into it and getting to know Coach Patricia. Griffin also mentioning brotherhood for both Bama and Ohio State, so clearly a key component of what he's looking for as he begins his search for his new commitment for 2026. Now, we are in a sub-battle in the month of June against the Alabama Football Report. We're not that far behind. Let's close some ground. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/GoBucks, and make sure you're sub for all the great stuff we've got planned in the season, which is still several months away. Let's dive into the 5-star offensive lineman who had his visit. I think he got in on June 10th, and the visit itself was June 11th. That's Darius Gray, who is taking a lot of visits as he begins his search for his eventual college. 5-star offensive lineman. Oh, forgot to mention, it is in the graphic, but all of these are from the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings, so they'll ebb and flow and change, and as things always go there. Number 28 overall in the class. He is an interior offensive lineman, the number 2 ranked interior offensive lineman. Also hails from Virginia. He is the number 2 rated recruit in the state. He's taking a lot of official visits. This is a wide searching race for Gray and why there's not really a clear-cut favorite. Maybe LSU's got a good chance here. Virginia and Virginia Tech, the in-state schools, got visits. Georgia, Clemson, and Tennessee, so kind of that little swing to an extent. Ohio State has been completed. LSU, Penn State coming up as well with the Tigers. South Carolina. So he's just It's the summer. He's taken official visits. And he may or may not be done. Remember, he used to have a 5 official visit cap. Unlimited now. All of them official visits, mostly on that kind of eastern seaboard, the South and some Midwest overlap there, Tennessee, Ohio State. We can count Penn State in that area too. So kind of in that DMV area too. So that's kind of where Gray's looking at. Eastern schools, not too far from home, but not necessarily directly in the same state, although Hokies and Cavaliers got visits as well. Currently, the Buckeyes have 2 5-stars committed to them. They've got other 15 commits. They're number 2 in the 24/7 Sports composite right now. Or maybe it's 3 right now. I forget which one they jumped up from 4, though. Either way, how many 5-stars did the Buckeyes land in this class? Let me know in the comments of today's show. One quick note as well, Justice Fitzpatrick, who originally had said he was going to take his planned visit to Ohio State, is not going to. He is now going to cancel that official visit. This is after he committed to Georgia. I think that's a pretty big blow for the Flip Hopes. I know there's been some reporting that on 3 of, maybe it's not over yet. I think your best case would be like, before signing day, late flip, but it's kind of tough to get a guy to flip to you if he's not going to take the official visit. So I would not put much stock in flipping Fitzpatrick. Now, you can get the Ohio State National Championship hat. It is available on sale, by the way. Fanatics doing some summer Father's Day sales. Get yours today. Chatsports.com/OSU hat. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. That's chatsports.com/OSU hat. Check it out. It is available on sale. Link will be in the comments and the description of today's show. Clickable link over there in that corner as well. Let's talk quarterback here. And this is not a superstar 5-star recruit, but it's still quarterback and still worth discussing. Luke Fahey is still an option for the young QB. He's going to visit on June 20th. But that does not mean he's a lock for Ohio State. So the early frontrunners right now for Fahey are some lower-level schools, like not the same tier, like next down. Indiana and Stanford as well, which does stand out given the chaos that program is currently dealing with right there. The Buckeyes, heading into this visit coming up next week, have not offered him. Now, as of right now, they don't have a quarterback commit for the class of 2025. And I think for the most part, Tavian St. Clair's presence is kind of a negative here. In theory, Tavian St. Clair, probably not this year or next year, but 2 years from now, takes over the starting quarterback role. Julian Saint's here for this year, and then next year, then St. Clair gets to go. And you're kind of like, if you commit, you're still looking like, I'm going to need like 2 to 3 years before I get on the field in my best case scenario. So in general, you want to land a quarterback recruit every cycle. It just might not be a 5-star quarterback commit every cycle. It might kind of be more of a further down the line guy who can still be a potential starter, but maybe slots more into like the Devin Brown range of like, or something in that bucket where he's not expected to be an early starter, but he wants to grow and develop and can still be a 1 or 2 year starter later in his career, or at least give you good backup play, which does matter. Of course, these guys will harbor NFL hopes, so it gets a little bit dicey. It's why there's so much portal movement at the quarterback spot overall. Now, Fahey is 355 overall in the 24/7 Sports composite out of California, the 23rd overall quarterback in the class, a 4-star, as mentioned. We'll see if he gets offered, but I think this level of player is probably like a realistic aiming point for the Buckeyes in this class. So I think the answer is yes, just don't know who it is. Will Ohio State end up landing a QB for the 2026 class? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's video.